Could you hand me sugar for my tea? That's not what people talk like in the 50s, but you get my point. Anyway, it's a flat, which is considerably less gross. I really don't know what I was thinking of, but when information enters my mind, it just, I don't know what happens to it. I'm stupid. What would a sweet pea taste like? What is that flavor? If I had a nickel every time I was dumb, I would not have to be smart to make a lot of money. I thought for a very long time that heat pressure was good. There's water pressure, air pressure, and then there's your friends. What's the my I'm gonna eat it. Apple, two. At least three. One of them for each little hair pool. Oh. Oh no. 2,500. At least 100%. It's not wrong. Two. Jonathan. Big. Zero. 82. 82. It's like a real answer. Banana. No. 149. That's a lot. A billion. 120 something? That's another real answer. Out of this world. Big fruit. Gummies. Peanut. Pants. Pancakes. Guys, it's supposed to be a number. Are you guys hungry? Potato. Taking a deuce is taking a number two. Deuce is two in Spanish. Maybe. Maybe two. It's English. Wait, it's English. What? It's just English. Deuce is English. What? Mushrooms are called protein because it's like a stool or a toad. Honestly, you could have called it anything and I would have accepted it. Oh, what's that? It's called soaps? Mask? Bird? Amazing. I'm accepting that as fact. In conclusion, I'm not got the smart. A lot of other people in this world that are really, really good at retaining information, a lot better than I. But I'm good at other things, like this little dance.
Okay.
Silver lining, now informed. Intelligence proven it's only a little overcome. This is always the case for everybody. Thanks for watching. I love seeing you watch my videos. Thank you for watching. Stop! I'm online looking at the rate of bone fractures in the United States, and it says here on this very fancy website that approximately 6.8 million Americans break a bone each year. Considering the population of the United States is about 300 million, that gives us about roughly 2 out of every 10 Americans break their bones annually. And that means that 8 out of every 10 Americans don't break their bones annually. And I have never broken my bone. So that means, by the law of transitivity, I am 8 out of every 10 Americans. Millions of people in the United States alone are breaking their bones and having to deal with unimaginable pain. And I consider myself really lucky to have never had to go through that pain. That terrible, just horrible, horrible pain. But I have hurt myself. Not on purpose, but just because I'm being an idiot. Or because I'm near an idiot. That idiot is also usually me. I've stubbed toes, I got hit in the face with a shoe, falling from a table, falling down the stairs. I've fallen down the stairs more than I'd like to admit. One time with an entire plate of spaghetti, but that was more of an emotional pain. So, I've never broken a bone, but the worst pain I've had to deal with was in college when I played my monster. I was spending the better part of an absolutely gorgeous day inside when I heard I go to see what it is, and I see all of these inflatable bouncy castles and optical courses outside the which is like the main area of the school. Near the end of the year, when finals happen, the school rents out this third-party entertainment company to blow up all of these optical courses and games for the students to play on so they can unwind for fun. Which makes sense, and it's really nice. And it's a lot better than some half-hearted email about how not to let finals get to your head. This was, instead, a really nice thing for the school to do. It was actually really nice. They had bouncy castles, obstacle course, and they had one that you had to do, like, this. I don't know how to explain it. What is important is the obstacle course, because that's where all my friends are. I As I'm looking out the window, I can see that they're taking turns racing each other through the obstacle course to see who's faster. Clearly they were having a blast, and I wanted to have some blast. So I went outside to meet them. I go outside and meet up with my friends and say that I want to race them. And we have a really fun time racing for most of the afternoon. And during this, I'm actually winning most of the races. You see, I had an advantage. While most people are fast or strong, my body which is perfect for an inflatable obstacle course environment. I can go around and over and through the obstacle with relative ease. This allowed me to get a pretty big head about because I was doing it alone. The day was wrapping up, and inflatable things were starting to be taken down. But I wanted one more race, because I was on a winning hunt. One for the road, you know? The obstacle course was like this. Start, get over some bumps, dive through a hole, duck through some sideways pillars, then climb up the wall, and then slide down the other side, and whoever touches the bottom platform first wins. So the race starts, and that's exactly what it goes for. Over the bumps, holes, side pillars, climb up the wall, and at this point, I'm pretty far ahead of my roommate. With the extra time I've gained, I decided I was going to be flashy. So I propped myself up, and instead of sliding down, what ended up happening was the inflatable structure was not fully inflated. There was a hole in it somewhere, so there was a lot of give to the inflatable course. And because I had jumped off of the top instead of sliding down, all of my inertia, when I landed on the bottom platform, punched through to the ground and did nothing to stop my momentum. I ended up landing all of my weight onto one of my ankles, and it really hurt. Now, I've never broken a bone before, but in this moment, I sincerely thought that I had. The guy who was taking down the obstacle course, like, peeked around the corner and was like, "You good?" And because I'm an idiot and embarrassed, I was like, and he was like, "Cool," and then left. I was absolutely writhing in pain, though. My friends had to drag me aside and lay me down because I couldn't stand up on my own. Thankfully, I have really good and loving friends, and one of them was actually a practicing nurse. So she went and grabbed a kit of a nurse thing and looked at my foot and told me to go. I agreed, but because I couldn't exactly stand right yet, we decided to wait for the crippling pain to subside a little bit before we left. So to pass the time, my good and loving friends made jokes at my expense. Eventually, we do end up getting to the doctor. The doctor explained that he's probably x-rayed just to make sure that there's no hairline fractures or something. To which I agreed, so we go and get my foot x-rayed. And they determined that my foot was fine. Not broken, just the same. It's really hard to believe because of how much pain it was. Also, it's been like 2 years and it still hurts. Ow. But they insisted that it was just a sprain, so never broken a bone. So that's the worst I've ever been hurt without blood. One hand I have Savannah been talking about spraining my ankle, and that hurt. That was really bad. And the other hand I have a pain I've never experienced before, which is breaking a bone. Actually, really breaking a bone. Knowing what this felt like, I don't know if I could survive this. But there's only one way to find out. Thanks for watching this video. Before I go, couple things. When I was editing this, my cousin discovered an old home video of all of us playing on a slide as kids. Just really quick, let's check it out. This is me. Look at those big old peepers. What is wrong with me? This was a deep-seated problem from childhood. I can't operate slides, I guess. Just get up on the top and... I'm not known for mind that. Moneymaker's up here. One more thing before I go. Dingo made a video a while ago with me in it, and I talk about another time I was hurt. You should check it out. The video is here. Also, while you're over there, subscribe to her channel. She's great. Yeah, you can also subscribe to my channel, and if you do, in minutes, I will eat this entire other subscriber.
You're meowing like heck.
drawings pretty early on because she drew a lot and I thought that was cool, and I wanted to draw too. That's part of how I got into comics. I started doodling on my own instead of with Becca, then drawing and reading comics, and eventually I started comics. Now, this you watching you. Chris and I have a good relationship now, but back in the day, the rivalry was strong. The rivalry pull pranks on me, is what I'm trying to say. Pull pranks. With the top closed. I can do that. Okay, check this out. See? You like the glove? Before I die, I'm not sure why she did it, but I am sure that it spawned a powerful claustrophobia inside me. None of you, my sisters, that hurt me. Sometimes it hurt me better. For example, when I was a kid, before I could eat sleep, let's sit around and have breakfast together and watch Saturday morning cartoons. Usually breakfast was just cereal, and it was the rule that you just had to finish it up after you ate the cereal. For some reason, as kids, we didn't like to do that. Good job finishing the cereal. Now don't forget to drink milk as well. How could this happen to me? I made a mistake. And because I couldn't say anything, I couldn't defend myself. The joke's on them because it taught me to always drink my milk after my cereal. And now, I'm tall. Sometimes, Tristan pranks both Becca and Alvin, because, that's kind of the role of the oldest. She calls us into the side room and shows us this very large bottle of vodka. Tells us she found it in Mom's and Dad's secret stash, which they didn't have. Like, she said that she was going to drink it, and even though Becca and I didn't know anything about alcohol, except that you got to stay in church and free it, but outside of religion, it was strictly for adults, and drinking it was absolutely optional. You dare me to do it, but you don't do it. If you do it, out. It was just water. Okay, at this point, that was on me, guys. The moral of the story is that Krista was really good at pranking. Like, if she committed a crime, she probably would be able to get away with it. All in all, we had our spats, but everyone goes through that. My siblings I grew out of immediately, I'd say. In conclusion, I love my sisters. Both Becca and Krista. Thanks for watching this video. Come join us on Twitter. Hanging out. Twitter.com. I intention to make a promise I made at the end of the last video. So, recent subscribers Doc Crush. The Cruise Doc Crush? No, I'm giving this one. They won. Prize. Congratulations. Ooh, I love public transit. It's so easy. Here comes a bus right now. Hello. Hi. Where are we going? We're going to space. How's that even possible? I'm not entirely sure. When are we gonna get there? We're here right now. There's no doubt in my mind that public transit's great. It's cheap, it's accessible, it takes cars off of the road, which reduces traffic, a lot of good things about it. I used to take public transit all the time when I was in community college. It made a lot of sense. I didn't have a car back then, so I would just go on the bus, go to school, spend all day there, and then go back home on the bus. Super easy. They even had a little shop at the school where you could go and buy bus passes for different lengths of time. I like that. I don't take the bus as much anymore, but I'm still left with good memories from when I used public transit. Most of the time, the rides were very normal. Nothing special would happen. But every once in a while, you would get, that commuter. You know the one where they wear the headphones around their necks and pump up the volume instead of wearing them on their head because they're headphones and turn down the volume? Yeah, that one. If you've ever ridden a bus before, you know who I'm talking about. Honestly, I don't get why people do this. Is it like a power move? Do they want people to think they're cool? Do they just not know how to use headphones? No. I didn't run into these people all the time, but there was one particular instance where I did. It was very uncomfortable. I didn't have my headphones that day, so I couldn't drown out their music with my own. I just had to kind of deal with it. I'm pretty recluse, very shy, so I just kind of dealt with it. Really not the end of the world, but I noticed there was another lady who couldn't really deal with it as well. She kept shooting glances over at the guy, like her eyes were gonna make him stop. Stop it, eyes. Those don't exist. It didn't work. Eventually, she mustered up enough courage to get him to stop by telling him to stop. But at that point, she had built up so much frustration that it came out really stern and very aggressive. Like, would you turn that down, please? He actually did turn it down, but he must have been embarrassed about it or something, because after she had told him to turn it down, he immediately turned to me and started smack-talking her. No, don't do that. I get that you were embarrassed, or at least you're frustrated with the woman for so aggressively telling you to do something so simple, but don't pull me into it like we're homies, like we're buddies. Remember, I'm shy. I don't confront my problems. I just deal with it. Experiencing some concerning emotions? Bottle it up. That's not gonna be a problem later. But, Michelle? Problem solved. I was nearing my bus stop at this time, so I didn't want to start anything up, so I just kind of agreed with him, like, Maybe if he just vented a little bit, he would stop at some point. You'd think, but no, he kept going. I think that was really rude of her to say that to me like that. Please stop. I just think that she said she wasn't cool about it. Please stop it. Like, if there was me saying it to her, I would say it to her as well, but just nicer. Stop it. I think it was just really not a cool move for her to do that to me. Eventually, my stop came, and I just left. I just got up and went, never to speak of that awkward situation again, until I'd said it in this video. But that doesn't count. Buses aren't the only form of public transportation. I've experienced trains too. I went to France a couple years ago for a study abroad trip. That was a pretty cool experience. Wherever we need to go in Paris, we would just take the metro and boom, you're there. You want to go to lunch? Metro. You want to go to the bar? Metro. You want to go to class? No. I'm sleepy. Please go away. At one point, my friends and I were heading down into the metro because we wanted to go back to our dorms. We heard through the tunnels that the train had actually already arrived at the platform. So we started booking it. We turn the corner, and we see the train doors are still open. So we just gun it, like really go at it. Just by the skin of our teeth, we slide in, and the doors closed. We had been so focused on getting into the train that we didn't realize somebody had yelled something at us. And I didn't realize what that was until I looked around at the train car, and it was completely empty. Nobody in sight. Oh, you guys, I think this train is done for today. Now looking back at the situation, I think it's pretty funny, but during that moment, I was very panicked. My friends found it very funny, but I didn't. I was on a whole nother level, encased in a mobile cart of fear and anguish. I don't know how trains work. I don't know where I am. I don't know French. What do you expect me to come to your country and know the language? The situation ended up being completely fine. I called my professor that was on the trip with us just to see what we should do, and at that point, a conductor came by to see if anybody was still on the train. There was. Bonjour, je suis un enfant. Je m'appelle omelette de fromage. I had given the phone to him. They discussed it out. She explained the situation. He was actually super nice about the whole thing. He started the train back up and just brought it to the platform we needed to go to. That was super nice of him. Just speaking of public transportation, France, they've got it down. If you want to go to another city, you could take a train. Anywhere in Paris, it was the metro. We talked about that before. Pay attention, come on. It's just so easy. Back in the States, a couple months ago, I was tired of driving in traffic for 20 minutes every day from home to work. I looked up if there was a bus that I could take and do stuff on the bus. And it was only just 2+ hours. I don't get how that works. Like, I get that point, like it would be if you were
Oh,
driving
so I
a car,
would have won.
but over 2 hours longer?